Hey guys, welcome to this part of September's Food Forest Tours. Hope y'all are doing great today. Looking over here at the blueberries, and this one was the one that was damaged by deer earlier in the year, but it has just really come back strong. You can see these new shoots right here, one right there and one right there. Those are kind of the vigorous new shoots it's put off, and all of that is new growth all the way up from there, all the way up there, a little over 6 feet tall now for both of those. So it's really put on a lot of growth so far, so that's really good. And they're really all starting to kick into some growth. You can see all that light greenish foliage right there is the new growth that's kind of coming on as the weather's cooled a little bit. They've kind of built up some energy after fruiting hard this year, so really excited to see that. Some of them you see are just getting really tall. Wow, that one's probably almost close to 10 feet up at that top one. They'll kind of, as they bear fruit though, those tall shoots, that one's probably close to 8 feet right there at the top of that one. This one's really spreading out nice. Sometimes I do crazy stuff like that one and kind of send out a shoot straight over right on the end of that, but it'll all balance out. It'll kind of fall over and spread out as a really long branch. Really putting on a lot of growth now this year. We had so many blueberries I could hardly pick them this year, and next year I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to figure out some quicker ways in harvesting, maybe spreading out something underneath them and shaking them down, so I don't have to spend quite as much time picking them. Also get distracted probably. That probably takes me a little while longer because there's some wild blackberry. Probably spend a lot of time looking around at things as I'm picking, or getting distracted with something and being like, oh, look at that. But it's fun just being outside and picking fresh, good fruit. These are the mulberry trees. This is the grafted one right here, and it's probably almost 8 feet tall now. It's that bigger leafed one. As we were mentioning before, the bigger leafed ones seem to be most of the name varieties. They're all looking really good. The other ones are just wild, and I'll probably just clip them back and graft onto them this coming year. Over here's the grapevines, and these have gone just crazy. And these are the same varieties as the ones we looked at over there earlier in the previous tour, or the previous tour this month, so the last video. And these are obviously these are in a more raised area, not really raised at all, but more raised just a little bit, maybe just a couple of inches really, and had a little bit more. I put more organic matter into the soil at the beginning of the year, put some fall leaves down, and these grapes are just going crazy. These were just a few inch long cuttings, maybe a foot at the most probably. As you can see, they're trailing off down here, climbing up over on the other side. This one is from in that fence over there, so they've just gone crazy. So it's really interesting. So that's it's exciting and shows that they can still do good, even when those over there are struggling, just with changing up a few things to help the plant be in a better area and kind of it for its preferences. There's one growing over on the pomegranates. So the pomegranates are looking good. Got that nice, older leaves have that nice, really deep, rich green color. Really pretty to me. And the newer growth, it's that light orangish red color. Got some beneficial insects flying around over here. And the apple trees, let me see if I can just kind of get to them. They are the tallest one, that one probably up behind actually this one right here is really tall. It's probably about maybe 8 feet, and that one behind it back there is actually probably 9 feet, almost 10 feet. And so these were cut back to literally just a few inches tall at the beginning of this year, and they are, some of them, close to 10 feet, probably will hit 10 feet by the end of the year. So I will probably just, these are seedlings, so and I don't know honestly anything about what the parents of these trees were, so they could be really good, or just a random wild apple that's really not any good for eating. Probably could use it for cider or drying, something like that maybe, but I really prefer fresh eating. But these are so vigorous here, or at least those, you can see there's probably like 4, this one, this one, this one, and this one, that are all the tallest. Probably actually that maybe 5, that one behind it, and that one that's leaning on it right there. So maybe about what is that, 6 of them that are I just realized that's a branch right there off of that tree, so that's really growing a lot. Really interesting. And so I may graft, or I may save those and just plant out those trees just for fun. You can see how healthy those leaves are. Big and healthy, just growing like crazy. That tall one's got a big caterpillar on it, but I don't hardly see, I just see a little tiny bit of damage at the end of the leaf. I've noticed a lot of caterpillars have had the parasitic wasps on them, so they don't seem to last too long when the caterpillars show up. But I think it's good to have some of those. It's good to have really all the insects, in my opinion. I'm leaning more and more towards that, as against all of them as I was at first. But just the key's balance, and just having everything. You don't want thousands of them. You want those insects to take out the bad plants, because you want the best genetics and what's gonna work in your area, and you don't want spread those bad genes and have plants that are gonna be really weak. But then you also want a chance at the plants surviving, even if they're hard to grow in your area, so that you can take the seeds and plant those to get even more beneficial for your area. So just having a balance of the predatory bugs. There was a ladybug on that. He's hiding behind oh, there he goes, the top of that seedling. That's the seedling peach trees. I think I've got about 4 in here. I've marked the 2 biggest ones right there with those tags, is what that is. And so those will be planted out to the food forest or somewhere else on the property. Really trying to develop kind of like an edible kind of landscaping, kind of, in quotations, to really just increase the food growing area on my property. And so that should be really exciting. Hoping to do that pretty soon as well. And gonna move these out. We'll head over and let's check out the pomegranates. That one didn't make it for some reason this year. A lot of them are doing really good. I should have, these pomegranates were a little bit more sensitive to, they didn't have as much sunlight as they needed early on. They seemed to love the sun. And so I didn't have, there was some wild stuff that was growing up here earlier in the year, and that just was kind of shading them out. But once I cut that back a little bit and just gave them a chance to get up above that, they've really just grown like crazy. There was one from last year. It's got some good sized branches on it. Most of them have gotten about double the size as they were last year. Some growing more than others. 2 of them didn't come back in this area. I think it was the soft-seeded ones, so that was kind of expected. So we've been talked about before, the soft-seeded ones tend to be not as cold hardy. This one's getting pretty big. This one's probably a little over 5 feet. Got a lot of good branches, and looking pretty thick down there. So I'm hoping this may survive the winter unscathed. Hopefully that would be really nice. I'm planning to hopefully maybe put some mound up more around them, and also put some kind of rocks back in behind them, and maybe even around the front to kind of help hold that heat when it gets coldest in the evenings most of the time. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll have some pomegranate, some of these trunks survive, and then that will give it a boost above these things anyway. When they die back to the ground, they've kind of got to come up through all the stuff, but if they survive up to at least halfway, they've got a really good boost when it comes to the next year. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll do some of that with the figs too, and hopefully get some pomegranates next year. That would be awesome. That'd be so cool. So I'll see you guys in the next part of the tour. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye guys.